everybody. Thank you for coming out in the snow. For those of you who are physically here, we appreciate you. And we got our first song here this morning, so welcome.
Take a little seedling and plant it in the ground. With a hope and a prayer it'll grow up strong. Faith that the future will someday come along. We try to believe in believing, and to have a little faith in the word. Faith in the word. Have a little faith in the word. Faith in the word, faith in the word, have a little faith in the word. We do a little dreaming and we plant it in our hearts. With a little bit of love it'll grow each day. Wanting our children to never be afraid. We said a better dream worth dreaming. Have a little faith in the world, faith in the world. Have a little faith in the world. Have a little faith in the world, faith in the world. Have a little faith in the world.
Good morning. I think we all have a little faith in the world just getting here today. Don't we? And welcome to all those that are here electronically as well as in person. Today is the first day of Advent, and I was thinking about that because in all Christendom, Advent is a very powerful time of the year of looking forward to the birth of Jesus. But for the wide Christendom, it's really the birth of Jesus as the Christ amongst us. And yet, it seems that we in Unity know something a little bit differently. That, yes, Jesus came and showed it more powerfully, more vividly, the Christ that was within him, but that's true of all of us. So Advent means the coming, seeking, looking forward. And it seems that I would suggest that in Unity, there's a paradox. We're looking back, in a sense, in order to look forward. And by that I mean that I would say that all of creation, when the universe was created, 8 point several billion years ago, Christ was there. You know, there was not a time Christ was not present. The Christ presence, the Christ power, the Christ truth was present in creation itself. It's just that it took a long time for life to evolve, humans to evolve, Homo sapiens finally, the latest iteration of us, to get to the point where Jesus could come amongst us, if you will, and reveal something that was always present. But we just needed that wayshower, if you will. And now we're in the season of Advent where we're not looking forward to that Christ event finally happening. No, we're celebrating the Christ event as always happening, always amidst us. But we can deepen, we can be more powerfully practice some of the aspects of Advent. Today it's faith and hope. And so we can deepen the appreciation that Advent just gives us another opportunity to really go deeply into our spiritual practice and know the truth of the Christ within always. And faith and hope is today's celebration of the first Sunday of Advent. And an irony, I was listening to the news on WPR coming into this morning, and it included the resumption of the conflict in Palestine. And the Israelis were telling the Palestinians to move away, but there was no place to go. And so just more and more havoc and atrocities. And then I was looking around and seeing the awesome beauty of the snowfall and the beauty of the trees, the snow in the trees and around. It was just awesome. The juxtaposition of awesome havoc, if you will, and awesome beauty. To me, it's a reminder that faith and hope means we have to go within, into the inner sanctuary where faith and hope really reside. They cannot be defeated by the world. And it's from that that we can bring out into the world the fruits of faith and hope. I want to just read a quote from the mystic Rupert Spira. I am, in quotes, in the sanctuary of your heart, or I'm sorry, let me start again. Keep the knowledge, I am, in the sanctuary of your heart. It is the gateway to peace and happiness on the inside, and the source of love and friendship on the outside. It's another way of, I think, using the fruits of our own faith to germinate in the world and spread that faith and hope in the Christ that we all know is within us. And so it is. Let us continue. So, we join together in our vision as we say together, a world powerfully transformed through shared spiritual awakening. And let's join together in our mission statement together, advancing the movement of spiritual awakening and transformation through unity, a positive path for spiritual living. And we celebrate our values by saying together, abundance, acceptance, community, diversity, integrity, joy, and love. And we celebrate our children with this affirmation together, unity of Appleton sees the divinity in all children and nurtures their unfolding spirituality. And our daily word for today, hope. My hope leads me to deepen in faith. As Advent season begins, I feel a quickening, a renewal deep within me as I embark upon the spiritual journey leading to Christmas. Over the year, I may have hoped for lasting peace, greater love, or abiding joy. But as I have grown spiritually, I have learned to look for those things within, to claim them as aspects of my divine identity. Once I do that, I will begin to see them manifest in my life. Faith is how I begin to bring my hopes to life. Like my other divine gifts, I always have faith. It's up to me to decide how to use it. When I choose to believe that peace will blanket the earth, love will heal our hearts, and joy will bring harmony to the world's people, I am using the power of my faith to bring those visions to life. And from the Gospel of John, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. And so, let's say together the line at the top. Hope. My hope leads to deepen in faith. And we are going to light the first candle. I'm sorry? For the...
Yeah. Is there one under? Yeah, and then if you just light them up.
Okay, gotcha, okay. Getting our act together here. And so today we light the candle for hope. And we celebrate our faith and our hope.
people and friends that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I loved you more. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I loved you more. In my life, I love you more.
So this morning, we'd like to welcome the lovely Rev. I like calling them the Revs Wendt in my head, because that's usually what I'm typing, right? The Revs Wendt. And so thank you for coming and braving the storm, and John not feeling well, which is why we don't have John here today, so please give him some good thoughts. He's not feeling well today. And you can't see because of my boots, but I do, in homage to Tom, have some funky Christmas socks on. I should have taken my boots off or something. I thought of you this morning as I was getting dressed, I was going to wear black socks, and I was like, no, I'm not. I'm going to wear some funky Christmas socks this morning. So we know them, and we always love their messages, and this time around, we've got both of them. So please welcome Reverend Marypatriece and Tom Wendt.
Good morning. Wow, it's a great snowy day. We were admiring it this morning as well through the window, how beautiful it is, and how carefully we were going to drive through it on our way here. But today we're talking about, our talk title is Preparing to Go to Bethlehem. So Advent has begun, and it's time to pack your bags for a trip to Bethlehem. Are you prepared? How does it feel inside when you hear that word prepare? I know for me, this word can feel heavy, like I'm going to prepare a meal, which means I'm usually doing it by myself. I'm going to prepare for a meeting, which means there's a lot of paperwork to be completed. It just sounds so big and complicated and time involved. And yet, aren't we preparing every day for something?
Sure.
And if our destination is to be Bethlehem, wow, isn't there so much more to think about preparing for? Because we really want to give our attention to it. Bethlehem is a really important place to go. So our destination is Bethlehem. And in the spirit of the holiday season, I think to the stories about Christmas, and I started thinking about who was preparing to go to Bethlehem, and that was the 3 wise men. What did they do to prepare to go to Bethlehem? They didn't have a GPS system to get them there. They only had this bright star and probably some awareness of how things were or where things were as they went along their way. And what guided their choices in what to bring? How much should they bring? How far was it going to be after all? I don't think the star told them any coordinates of where it was going to end up. Did they have an idea of how long they should travel each day to get there? All the story tells us is that they came from afar. Was the climate different? Did they need to bring a change of clothes, or maybe 2, or maybe 10? Who knows? Did they buy souvenirs along the way? Did they stop for a t-shirt? I don't know, or a cup of coffee? Would they camp or go to the local hotel, Motel 6? And how did they address their need for food? They're only taking a few camels. How much can you pack on a camel? And of course, don't forget, they had to bring a gift. How much does a bunch of myrrh, gold, and silver weigh when you're packing? How did these camels survive what they needed to bring with them to arrive in Bethlehem? Did they get camel butt along the way? I wonder these things. So whether you look at this story literally or metaphysically, you can truly say, all right, there's a group of people or one person making a plan. They're making a goal to go somewhere, to end up somewhere. And you can look at it both ways. They are making the commitment to arrive there no matter what detour they run into. No matter how many bathroom breaks they need to take, no matter how many "are we there yet" that they hear, or kings that stop them and say, "Where are you going and why are you going there?" Have you ever had somebody ask you, "Where are you going? Why do you want to go there?" So today we're talking about preparing to go to Bethlehem. What is the goal that you hold right now? What are you preparing for that journey? Will it entail bringing toothbrushes, soap, shampoo, deodorant, grooming items? All the toiletries ready? Check. Will it require special clothing? What's the climate going to be wherever you're going? Will you wear flip-flops or hiking boots or warm snow boots? Will you have a swimsuit cover-up, jeans, or an overcoat? That all depends on your plan, doesn't it? What is Bethlehem to you? Charles Fillmore, our co-founder of Unity, in his metaphysical definition in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, defines Bethlehem as the house of bread, a place of food, the abiding place of sustenance, and a house of living. It's the place where you're sustained, the place that feeds you, that nurtures you. What is that for you? Is it a location? Is it an activity? Is it with people or by yourself? What is that for you? Is it somewhere outside or somewhere inside? Is it in your spiritual community, with family or friends? Or will you need your GPS to get there, your God-powered system to guide you there? And have you started your trip already?
Good words, and I'm reflecting on Bedford's words earlier about the Christ has always been here, always. Even before the Jesus was here, Christ's presence, the creative presence has always been here. And to me, Bethlehem represents a journey to a rebirth of that presence, not so much a rebirth, but a reminder. And there's a story in this month's Daily Word. Minister Reverend Bronte Colbert, she recalls a memory. She says it was 20 years ago, earlier in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She had picked up her daughter from her apartment, and they were going to make the 10-mile journey to Grandma and Grandpa's, to her parents' home. And it was a Christmas tradition of theirs, so one of their favorite traditions was to take the long route and visit various communities that really lit up the community, with Christmas decorations and whatnot. And, as they'd go drive through the various communities, they'd say, well, that house must really love Christmas. Look how they decorated it. And we like to do that too. We just love the feeling of a well-decorated community or home. But then after a few blocks, her daughter starts directing her out of the normal path. And she says, okay, take a right here, and I'll take a left here, straight on now. And Reverend Colbert didn't understand what was going on. Soon, they were driving into a complex of mostly dark buildings at the Milwaukee County General Hospital. Not a twinkle in sight. She says a light snow was falling as they stepped out of the dark onto the snow, and the snow was crunching, and her daughter says to Reverend Bronte, she says, you like to pray for others. She says, here's a good spot. So with that, they standing in this deserted parking lot, nobody around, boots on the crunchy snow, mittened hands, outreaching those buildings, which they could not see inside. And Reverend Colbert recalls just sending blessings to everybody in those buildings, the staff, the volunteers, the patients. She says, no one seemed to notice. No cars drove by or anything. And yet she says, I stood there in the cold night air, and I felt deeply connected to everybody inside that building. Talk about Bethlehem journey, my goodness. Now, she was recalling those memories about 10 months into the pandemic, which was leaving her feeling isolated and alone. Several of her friends had passed on. She didn't know what to do. She couldn't be with family. She couldn't travel. So she made the decision to shift her focus as she reflected on the power of that night 20 years ago with her daughter. She says, I put on a red sparkly sweater and a Christmas hat and set out for 2 hospitals in Athens, Georgia, which where she's living at the time this story occurs, which I'm thinking was just a couple of years ago. So here she was again in hospital parking lots, and she decided to pray the prayer for protection into the night air. Okay? The light of God surrounds you, the love of God enfolds you. To all those people in those hospitals, everybody. She says she no longer felt sad and lonely. Sharing the love of God within her, she says, reminded her that she's never alone. It seems to me like that was a Bethlehem experience for Reverend Colbert. She rebirthed the presence of God. I mean, it was always there, but she reminded herself of what's within her, the Christ within. And, speaking for myself, I tend to forget time to time, too. It seems to be kind of a human, part of my human experience. And so I need to prepare for my journeys to Bethlehem on a regular occasion.
Well, in Unity's Advent booklet for 2023, Reverend Juan Del Hierro shares the story of a personal trip to Bethlehem. For him, Bethlehem was becoming a father with his partner, Tom, by Christmas 2012. They began the adoption process early in the year, and it progressed smoothly. They were excited. Things were falling in place. Everything was moving along well. Soon, time moved towards summer, and the prospects began to slow down. Christmas was coming around the corner, and they were told it would take months before they would be approved. Juan was very disappointed. He reached out to their Unity prayer friends who had rallied around them and were praying for them and the whole experience. And he reached out to them to say, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Just want to let you know, I know you are all holding us in prayer, and you're really focused on this. And he was just so disappointed. He didn't want them to have the same disappointment. But his friends encouraged him not to give up hope or faith. It did not matter what events occurred, their joyful memories would take place. This lifted his spirits. On December 13th, the adoption agency called to ask, would you be available to join us at the hospital and meet a 4-day-old baby boy who needs a forever home? That day, Juan and Tom got to hold Lucas Gabriel, their name for him, for the first time. But Lucas Gabriel was born with complications and would need to stay in the hospital much longer than originally anticipated. In the days that followed, they continued their prayers. They continued to hold the faith. And Lucas Gabriel amazed health professionals who at first believed he would need to be on medication for several months and in the hospital. Then, a few weeks, he was going to continue needing that support. The next day, Juan received a phone call. You'll be able to take Lucas home shortly, and he'll no longer need his medication. He was released December 19th. What a joy-filled Christmas they had, right? And yet, they were still not approved to adopt him for another 6 months. But they were allowed to become his guardians. They held the vision and released the attachment to how and the details. They set a destination and prepared the way. They prepared the way to Bethlehem. Doesn't that remind you of the other verse from the Bible? Prepare the way of the Lord. A higher power in your life? Is there room in your journey and in my journey for a higher power to take part?
So the holidays, are based around our trip to Bethlehem and what occurred there and the manifestation of that Christ presence in an individual. And yet, so it's a magical time in a way. And yet, would it surprise you to know that regarding holiday-induced stress, 62% of respondents to a survey described their stress level as very or somewhat elevated during the holidays. Does that sound about right? 10% said, nope, I'm the same as I always am. Seems to me that 10% that doesn't feel any stress are causing the rest of us 62% to feel stress. Come on, will you get with it, for God's sakes? See, that 10%, they're staying grounded, they're focusing on what they need to focus on, and they're going with the flow. Among the holiday stressors listed by respondents were the financial demands of the season, negotiating the interpersonal dynamics of family, and maintaining personal health habits such as exercise regimen, and I'll add to that, healthy eating. Thanks for the cookies this morning, Carrie. Now, the law of mind action says that thoughts are causes. So thoughts cause the stress, right? And as we continually think about it, our thoughts not only fasten the stress to us, they cause more of it. And however, as the law of mind action can create stress, can't it also create the vision of what we want for the holidays? Can't it used to create the vision of organization and actions that lead us to desired outcomes to become part of that 10% that I talked about just a moment ago? Peace of mind, calmness, going with the flow, we can all have those things during the holidays. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. So I'm about to offer you some very simple steps to create a holiday season that is peaceful, calm, and you'll be flowing with the good of life. Promise you. These are steps that rebirth and remind you of the power in you. It's already there. You already have it. The Christ in you to reduce, minimize, or prevent stress. The key is simple. Here's where it starts. Enter the holidays with the highest and in the highest integrity that you can. Restore the level of integrity by which you operate to its highest level. That will enable you to clearly see what you want so that you can create the actions and circumstances to enjoy a peaceful holiday season. Remove all the obstacles in the way. Take actions required to welcome peace of mind, calmness, and flowing with the good. We restore integrity and raise it to its highest level by cleaning up our lives and everything in them. Precisely how, you ask? Look at all your broken agreements. Clean up all agreements. Clean up your taxes. Clean up your credit card debt. Clean up your car. Clean out the junk drawer. Clean up everything you have been putting off. Okay? Procrastination eats away at integrity. Every time we delay that which needs to be done now, that needs attention now, every time that task left undone takes up space in our minds, takes up space and energy in our consciousness. Some of you are shaking your heads. Yeah, I've got a few of those things going on. Yeah. And that space is continually reminding, I'll speak for myself, me, I need to get to that. Every time I walk by it, I need to get to that. Every time I look, I need to get to that. Constantly. How do I focus on what I want in life if I'm reminding myself what I'm not doing? How does that happen? Well, it doesn't. And then this lack of integrity that I'm operating at kind of lowers the baseline for everything else in my life. Something's calling me to get it done. Go do it, Tom. I love what Science of Mind magazine is one of my favorites, put out by Centers for Spiritual Living. In August, it said, so often in life, we strive to keep what is difficult away from us. Okay? I see a task, I think it's going to be difficult. I'm just going to tell myself I'm going to do it later. Okay? Out of integrity, totally out of integrity. When we do that, it says, we often lose what is beautiful. Don't run away from something, run to something. Run to those things that need to be done. That puts us in the highest integrity we can live in. Run to my broken promises. That's what I'm telling myself. That's what I'm advising all of us to do. Those promises I break to myself almost daily. Yeah, I'm going to get to that. I need to get to that. Don't procrastinate. Don't put it off. Everything we don't do occupies our mind and takes up that space that could be dedicated to something that we really want, not something we ought to do. That creates stress. Procrastination is like walking with a little pebble in your shoe. Unless you take action, the pain's always going to be there. Okay? Now, Reverend Bronte Colbert took some action when, upon finding herself feeling down, repeated what worked. Go to a hospital parking lot and pray, she says. When we take action, cleaning up broken agreements to ourselves and to others, we are back in that integrity. We're back living true to our core. And gosh, it didn't make this printed sheet, but I remember back on October 22nd, I was realizing I was procrastinating. And I made a list of all the things I'd been putting off. And I used to teach seminars. The most popular seminar I taught, Postpone Procrastination Now. I know how not to procrastinate, and I still do. I made a list of 12 items that I'd been putting off. Okay, I've been putting off because they take so darn much time, and I just didn't want to do them. That was October 22nd. By October 25th, I'd finished them all in only a few hours of total time. Put a doorstop in. Oh man, I'll have to get the drill. I'll have to get the drills. It took like 10 minutes to do that. Clean my desk. That took like 10 minutes to do that. Clean out my emails. 10, 15 minutes. 12 items in 3 days, but really over a few hours. But they had been keeping me down and occupying my mind in what I ought to be doing instead of what I really wanted to do. Okay? This works. Don't procrastinate. The holiday season can be that magical time for peace of mind, calmness, going with the flow, the entire perfect environment for rebirthing our Christ nature. Let's just enter in the highest, and let's walk into Bethlehem with the highest integrity we can, all our broken promises healed up, and living the vision that we want to live.
I fully agree. I find that when I do fulfill those broken promises, and mostly they're not to anybody else.
Yeah.
I am happy to fulfill my promise to you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and I forget me.
Yeah.
When I do sit down and take care of the list like you talk about, it creates a space in me. A space that not could be filled with what I want, but a space where I am aware of a presence that I didn't have before because it was filled up with my junk.
Yeah.
So one of the things I realize with the holiday season is, some of the detours that happen to my Bethlehem is that I find invitations to a lot of events and things that are on top of whatever else I already have going on. And I want to be part of them all. I want to go to this party. I want to go to this family get. I want to do the cookie decorating event. I want to do all these wonderful things. But truly, they've become obstacles to the Bethlehem I'm aiming to get to. Not all of them. I can be part of some of them. I was just having a conversation this morning. Part of me doesn't want to miss out. If I don't go, I'll miss something. There's going to be something good. But you know what? There's also something good right here that if I just take the time to stay focused on what my Bethlehem is, which for me, it's a feeling. There's a feeling, there's a moment where I say, yeah, this is Christmas. This is the moment. This is the birth of this moment in me. And it used to be as a kid, it would be going down before, I'm one of 9 kids. It would be running downstairs before everybody else was up and plugging in the Christmas tree and just looking at the tree before everybody got up, before all the magic was gone, everything was opened and the paper was flying everywhere. Just that silent moment. And how important it is. Yeah, it's important to know where your Bethlehem is, and it's also important to know what stops not to take. Some of them are important. You might want that t-shirt. You might want to get that Starbucks, but make sure that it doesn't deviate you so far from your trail, from your journey, that you don't get there when you really want to be. In closing, we're in the process of preparing to enjoy Bethlehem and the journey that it takes to get there. It is all part of the trip. Simple steps to be in integrity with your truth, with your path, are really important. When you clean up your agreements with yourself, you're also being more present to others.
Yes.
Make sure you keep your word not only to others, but to yourself. And be flexible. The journey may look a little different than what you anticipated. It may take you another extra twist or turn where maybe there's an event that shows up you didn't plan for, but you're going to get there. There is a presence and power that's in everything. There is good in everything that's happening. Keep the faith. It will come true. And it will show up the way that a higher power sees it showing up if you're open to it. So we love you. We bless you. We see the Christ Spirit in you in making and taking this journey to Bethlehem and preparing for it in what is most meaning for each one of you. And we affirm the power in you to continue co-creating with the divine. Let it be so, and so it is. Namaste.
Thank you. And so, dear friends, let's join in a time of quiet reflection and meditation and take that journey to our inner Bethlehem. This is our time to keep a promise to ourselves. Can we do that? I promise to love me. Imagine, if you will, treasuring your own soul. Let us each honor our own being. Feel that divine presence in the core of your body. Breathe into it. I breathe into my Christ. I remind myself who I am. I promise to love myself during this season and beyond. I listen to Spirit. And I promise to follow what I hear. I have arrived in Bethlehem. I am reminded of my wholeness my wellness, my peace of mind. Feel so at home with this state. Be at one with your truth. Today I promise to be the I am. Breathe into the I am. Surrender to spirit. As we bring our attention back to this beautiful sanctuary and the beautiful souls with whom we share it, we take this awareness and these promises with us today and beyond. We start with self-love and promise to spread it to others. And so it is. Amen.
Wonderful way to just begin this Advent journey. Thank you very much. And now we are going to continue a part of that ceremony that we do each year at this time with the angel ceremony. And I think you probably all got an angel that can be put on the tree. We acknowledge all of the different kinds of feelings and emotions that we have during the holiday season. We can have joy, excitement, dread, and sadness all at the same time. Today we hold our angel tree ceremony a time of remembrance for those who have made their transition to a higher realm. Let's begin by writing their names on the angel ornaments, and then I'll lead us in a short blessing before we place them on the tree. This is a beautiful reminder that our loved ones are with us through this holiday season and always. For those at home, please join in whatever way is best for you. Tom will play some music as we write. Now let's get quiet in heart and mind to bless these ornaments and all they represent, and write on them who you are remembering. Each name was life lived, filled with hopes and dreams of what could be. In their humanness and divinity, they represented a wide spectrum of the human experience. They were children, parents, brothers and sisters, beloved family, treasured friends, meaningful connections. They lived life well, and they lived it messy like we all do. Like divine messengers from God, from Source, their lives revealed things to us about ourselves, for which will always be grateful. So we bless these angels and remember those who have moved on to the next stage of their sacred journey. Let us remember that we are all energy, and that energy can neither be created or destroyed, but only changes form. And so we honor those whom we love and those who still love us. We will come up one at a time, say the name softly aloud as you place your ornament on the tree. I'll begin. I invite others now to come forward.
Here's to the ones that we got. Here's to the wish you were here, but you're not. 'Cause the love brings back all the memories of everything we've been through. Here's to the ones that we got. Here's to the ones that we loved in our thoughts. 'Cause the love brings back all the memories. And the memories bring back you. There are times we all remember when we could not find our way. We were looking for some sunshine, but we could not find a ray. But the times they are a-changing, we will find what's good and right. We know love holds us together if we just look to the night. Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts sometimes, yeah. But everything will be alright, everything will be alright, yeah. Here's to the ones that we got. Here's to the ones that we love in our thoughts. 'Cause the love brings back all the memories of everything we've been through. Here's to the ones here today. Here's to the ones that we lost on the way. 'Cause the love brings back all the memories. And the memories bring back you. Memories bring back you. There's a time that I remember when I never felt so lost, when I felt like all the bad times were too powerful to stop. But you know I learned just lately that love never goes away. If we hang on till tomorrow, that'll get us through today. Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts sometimes, yeah. But everything will be alright, everything will be alright, yeah. Here's to the ones that we got. Here's to the ones that we loved in our thoughts. 'Cause the love brings back all the memories of everything we've been through. Here's to the ones here today. Here's to the ones that we lost on the way. 'Cause the love brings back all the memories. And the memories bring back you. Memories bring back you.
And we close with the meditative affirmation, all is in divine order, all time, all good, and so it is. Now we're going to enter into another prayer time. Our annual membership meeting is February 18th, where a board will be created to lead our spiritual community, as 3 of our officers will be completing their terms on the board. So we ask people to enter into prayer, to quiet mind and emotions, and look inward to connect with Spirit, resting in the comfort and well-being of one's spiritual values, spiritual visions, and spiritual missions. We take this time to connect with our spiritual consciousness and listen to the call of leadership for Unity of Appleton. As we hear the call and feel our connection to Spirit, we step forward with kindness and faith, knowing we are enough. We trust in the love and support which is always available, knowing we are never alone. We see ourselves rising to ever greater spiritual understandings as we step into leadership of all forms. Unity of Appleton trusts in this sustaining spiritual support and energy of its members, and awaits the manifestation of its new board. And so it is. And so we hope that you will prayerfully consider being a part of the leadership of this wonderful, vibrant community, and keep that in prayer. Thank you. So we move from prayer to our affirmation of prosperity. This is the time when those of us who feel Unity of Appleton is our spiritual home practice putting Spirit first in our financial life. This practice prospers the spiritual community we love and supports our own spiritual growth and prosperity. Please give whatever amount Spirit guides you to give, whether it is in person or electronically. Whatever that amount is, take that gift into your heart and bless it with your love. Feel free to bless the plate as it passes by. Let yourself feel grateful to God in you as your one source. Then please join in our affirmation of prosperity. Together, Unity of Appleton is alive with the energy of Spirit in the flow of divine abundance and radiant with unlimited possibilities. And our celebration of giving and receiving together. Divine love in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I joyfully give and willingly receive. I give in love, and I trust God as my source. Receive these gifts. These gifts are a symbol of our infinite love that lives within us and that radiates into the world. And these are tangible gifts, are an expression of that. And we bless them and send them with love to all. Amen. And now, announcements. Last Thursday night was brilliantly blissful. For those of you that were here, know that. That was fantastic. And we've got something coming up to extend that, as we also give thanks to those who made that event happen and all who attended. On Thursday, what is the, it's the 21st, anyway, it's, maybe that's the next slide? Okay, okay, there we go. Whoop, no, we got, doing it. Oh, well, okay. Have faith, right, thank you. Oh man, how little faith one has. Thanks to your generosity and sense of community, 12 boxes of foods were donated to St. Joe's Food Pantry on Friday, and John and I had the privilege of sending it over to St. Joe's, and boy, were they thankful. They said they really need it, and it was well received, and thank all of you. Okay, ongoing book clubs at Unity. The Dream Journey, Eternity in God, that goes on Mondays. And Grace Factor is now Thursdays starting 1 to 2. Is that right? Yeah. Continuing, okay. And Living Untethered continuing. Today, I think we'll be 11:30. Is that right?
Well, yeah, as soon as people get up there.
Okay, but we also wanted to have time to mingle here.
We'll talk amongst
All women, Unity women are invited to a ladies' lunch at 11 at Fratello's in Appleton on Saturday, this coming Saturday, December 9th. We'll be celebrating November and December birthdays. Please RSVP by tomorrow to unity@unityofappleton.org or let Karen, Sophie know you're coming. And this is the slide, the slide I was thinking of. So with the Brilliant Bliss, they're coming back on for the winter solstice celebration, December 21st, from 6 to 8 here once again. Boy, I can't recommend it too highly. It's just fantastic, and those of you who are here know that for sure. But hopefully that will bring others in.
This is a free will donation too.
Free will donation and bring others.
Yeah, bring others.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. By the way, I want to give Linda the credit for the prayer that we were reading about needing the more board members. So thank you, Linda, for that. Yeah, it was. Yes. Upcoming community events, bell ringing. Friday, we have a sign-up sheet in the back there from 6 to 7. There are 3 locations, Walgreens, Fleet Farm, and Woodman's. We especially need right now, I think, because unfortunately John and Carrie aren't going to be able to make it at Fleet Farm, I think it was. So anyway, their sign-up is in the back, and it's really heartwarming to do it, as well as you have a wonderful pizza afterwards that we celebrate. Community potluck, Sunday, 17th of this month after the service, and there's a sign-up for that too in terms of bringing dishes of food of one sort or another. Christmas Eve service here, 6:30 p.m., no earlier service in that day. It's a Sunday, right. And the Burning Bull ceremony will be on Sunday, the 31st, New Year's Eve, regular time, 10 a.m. And the White Stone ceremony on Sunday, the 7th of January 2024. It's the first time I think I've been able to say that. So are we ready for the prayer of protection? Please stand. Arms outstretched, and we're saying together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us, and wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
So sing along, because you know it, but we tweak the words we unitize the words just a little bit.